Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, how's it going, Dane? Cooking dinner. It went while time zones being what they are. It's like it's 11 a.m. here. There we go. Where'd the box go? There it is. Alrighty. Of course, the vegetation grew right back through the landing pad. Gotta love it. It's alright. That was just my example base. Got a video uploading right now. You're very welcome, shooter. That is why I built them, so we could all have fun.
If we're in the market for organic materials, this is the place to look.
Hello, traveler.
How's that way over here? Oh yeah. I will be doing more ships in the future. It's just a matter of getting to the point where I can plug those into a mod and try and do some special content to give them, to give you access to them. I don't want to just make every ship a clicky that you just click a button and get a free ship. I 1700 is what we refer to as military time, and I'm very familiar with military time. I am former military. Here's my current favorite weapon. The Evangard enchants are the top end. They require New Game Plus trips for these legendaries, but it's very fun to use. Yeah, Dane, I was in the U.S. Air Force for 8 years. Here's the next ship. People are probably going to beg for me to put in a mod, but the problem with that is this one. This one is above the module count. This is my Razor Leaf. I built this last night, just kind of goofing off, having fun. What's that under the ship? What the hell? What do I have Rubbermaid containers beneath my ship? Who's been messing around? Dane, I ended up with a interesting position in the Air Force. I was a communications person, and I had a really high clearance. I handled a lot of the high end message traffic and all of that. So I was one of the guys that was relaying all those orders around the world for who was deploying where and all that. I wasn't allowed to deploy to combat zones because of my knowledge. So I personally never saw action. I put in for every base around the world, and they just stuck me at one base for 8 years. Could not get off of it, so that's a large part. That's why I got out of the military, was because they wouldn't send me anywhere. That would be a very funny mod shooter, but it is not the kind of mods that I create. But if somebody wants to make a Beavis and Butthead mod, I would probably start using the Adoring Fan because that would be hilarious. See, doesn't that look like what the Razor Leaf should have been from the start? My efforts today, once this stream is done, I will be bouncing in and out of Creation Kit, back and forth to Starfield, and testing out the different changes that I'm making to the armor that you can get from completing all of the DarkStar manufacturing research. And these are the variations you'll be able to make from it. Each one will have its own purpose, but I have to find specific testing scenarios for each suit to test each suit's specialty and make sure that I can, get those dialed in the right way. The only one that's currently dialed in all the way is the Umbral Assault version. And these are the names that are generated on the equipment. I didn't rename any of these. Does anybody have any mod questions? Oh yeah, yeah. The trainees maelstrom is a little overpowered for XP games. I had one character shooter that I used to test the trainees maelstrom just to see how fast I could level up. So this character 12 hours and 50 minutes, basically 12 hours and 40 minutes, and he was level 85, and I was playing very casually. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I was quite happy with how it turned out. In the future, I will be adding more difficult encounters and stuff like that with my mods, but it's not in the cards in the short term because I have certain things I want to accomplish when I do that, which are going to require research and experimentation. And yeah, let's check after the transition. Select character. So there you go. This is when my first character was created, 220. No, that was when it was ported over from Xbox. So this is unrealistic then, because this character was created the day the game went live on Xbox, and I transferred everything over from my Xbox saves to Steam in February. That's when I got this PC. And the days played is not accurate because it also isn't tracking what I did on Xbox properly. So what is that thing doing? You see that? That's several of the maroon ships stacked inside each other. Yeah, total, I'm way over 3,000. I don't really care about playtime. I know it was over 2,500, I think it was, when I got my PC. But honestly, once you get a good gaming PC, like I have a Series X, I no longer use it. It's not a lot of reason to. That is an extremely subjective thing, Tristan. I bought the Vulture, but I specifically did it to film tutorial videos on how other mod authors could create patches for DarkStar manufacturing. I mean, I think the gun's cool, but I can't say that I personally feel it was worth the money. No, the those aren't predetermined spawn locations. The legendary ships spawn randomly as you enter the system, so the game doesn't pre-calculate where they're going to be. Some other mod author that wants to spend time looking that up could probably maybe pull it off, but I won't be spending time doing that. Um, I will not be doing anything with the existing encounters as far as like the existing legendary ships, making them spawn certain places. I will be adding capital ship encounters in the future, but that's months and months away. I've got a lot to do before I get there. It's all going to be part of my storyline for my mods. So starting with DarkStar Robotics, the game's going to get harder just by virtue of the fact that you're running my mods. And then there'll be more story content and things like that as part of it. I like I said, Tristan, I've only paid for the one, and that was because I had a mod author reason for getting it. If it was me as a consumer, I wouldn't pay for any of the paid mods that are out there right now. That's just me. There's a couple that are going to be promising once they develop more of what they hope to do. Um, but I personally am not a big fan of work in progress mods, especially when they cost money. So me as a consumer, they're not worth it. Um, but that's just my opinion. That doesn't mean I'm right. It just means that's my personal opinion. I get very little time to play so far. Ever since I started mod authoring, most of my game time is things like this, where I'm doing a support stream, and I'm just kind of killing time, flying around while I talk to you guys. I think I've been everywhere now. Hooray! So yeah, Tristan, one of the issues that people aren't fully aware of on the Xbox side of the house, it's something that and this is again just coming from me, my opinions, just take them as they're worth. Um, with my mods, what I did when I got into the creation kit and I got in May, so before it launched, my first approach wasn't to just port what I had on Xedit over on Nexus. Those mods, I didn't want to just port over and then promote into creations. I rebuilt mine from scratch. And my mods are not small. So I think from the start of that effort to publishing manufacturing, so publishing Astrodynamics when that was ready, Trainees Maelstrom, and then manufacturing, that whole process I think took me about a month and a half, and that was working 8 to 12 hours a day on mods. That's on top of my day job. Now, not a lot of mod authors have mods the size of mine, as far as number of files created and touched. Astrodynamics is somewhere around 25,000 global forms. So it's huge from a file spread and file sprawl kind of perspective. Doesn't include custom graphics and animations and stuff like that. So it's a small download, but it's massive. If you go inside the any of the mod editing tools and look at it, it's huge. Same thing with manufacturing. It's just gigantic. So it was a lot of effort and a lot of time. I did it because I have that level of care for my products. I want to make sure that they're the best they can be for you and for me. Um, I was not working on a DarkStar Daratech patch. There was an old DarkStar Daratech patch, and it wasn't even necessary back then. I'll get back to that in a second. Um, when the creation kit went public, what a lot of us saw, there was, dozens of us mod authors in the verified creator program that were working on things. A lot of what people were working on were brand new. So they are building from scratch in the creation kit, and they're trying to do the best they can and produce the best products they can. But there were dozens and dozens and dozens of mod authors that were not in that verified creator program. They got access to the creation kit when it went public, and what they did was they just took the mods they already had published to Nexus and just promoted them into creations without doing any validation that they were bug free and without doing any upgrades or tweaking anything to optimize anything. And now I'll grant them that a lot of those mods are small. They're teeny tiny. They didn't have much that needed to be verified. But just the fact that you saw some of these mod authors show up on creations, and all of a sudden, day two of creations, they had like 20, 30, 40, 50 mods available. That should be proof right there that they didn't do the extra effort in the creation kit to re-verify everything and to clean things up. So it's very likely that some of those smaller onesie twosie little mods may have issues that those mod authors aren't aware of. The creation kit revealed changes or behaviors that are different than what the other editing program Xedit was showing us. Because Xedit was built originally for Skyrim and then upgraded for Fallout 4 and then upgraded for Starfield, but they upgraded for Starfield using reverse engineering tactics. They didn't have the creation kit to tell us what all of the files were changed to for Starfield. So they're like the weapon damages and stuff that I had in my original version of DarkStar Astrodynamics, they weren't calculated the same via my spreadsheets as what the creation kit was showing. So the creation kit revealed that there's a lot more going on with ship weapon damage than what we were able to understand with just Xedit. So it warranted me rebuilding the whole thing to make sure I tried to get it right. Tried to make everything smooth, tried to get the scaling of everything to make sense. Going back in time, when I was doing the Xedit only versions of the mods, because nobody had creation kit yet, DarkStar Astrodynamics, manufacturing, et cetera, all out on Nexus at that time. Daratech was big. I was gaining momentum. I created the DarkStar Daratech patch specifically just to add some DarkStar flair to the DarkTech parts, but it wasn't necessary to make the mods work together. It was just me doing something fun, and I was using Darratech at the time. But since then, I stopped using Darratech, which made keep maintaining that patch a pain in the ass. Two was that the big NIF overwrite change in NIF structure problem that Bethesda brought in broke Darratech entirely. The third was that at the same time I was getting access to the creation kit and no longer maintaining the Xedit version of that mod. So I shut down the Darratech patch entirely. Z Ogre, another mod author, who is in our Discord community together, he jumped in and asked if he could maintain the Darratech patch for me, and he did for a little while. But now that we're totally on the Creation Kit version, that patch is non-functional compared to the current version of DarkStar Astrodynamics. It's totally nonsense to even have that patch at this point. And once again, you never needed that patch to make DarkStar and Darratech work side by side. It was never necessary. So no, long roundabout answer, I won't be creating that patch again because it's not needed. It was never needed. And both of our mods are big enough on their own. We don't need to cross promote with a patch. So if somebody else wants to jump in and do a patch, I'm not going to stop them, but I'm not going to put effort into it. I've got too much to do. Yeah, not a problem.
We got a live one. Scanner's showing flora and fauna around here. You can't hear anything, Lessons? Can you hear me? I don't know why desktop audio wouldn't be coming through. It's set to. Oh wow, interesting. Let me see if I can fix that. Yeah, why is it not picking up desktop audio? Can you not hear the game? You should be able to hear the game. No game audio. Interesting. Why are you doing this?
Desktop audio. It says active. Oh, stop that. Trying to get this working. Interesting. That is so weird. Add. All right, what about, no? That's still showing no volume uptick. That's weird. Okay. Why is it not playing any audio at all? No, I mean, I'm hearing the game in my earbuds. That's the thing. And the desktop audio capture should have picked up everything going on. But like it's not picking up desktop audio at all right now in OBS, and I don't know why. Like I just recorded a video and I heard game sound in it, but now it's just decided, nah, I don't want to. Very, very strange. Let me try this. Let me try this, that, and then I'll switch my output device for a brief second. See, it's picking up desktop audio now. But the moment I switch to my earbuds, it doesn't. You guys can hear game audio now, I'm sure. But there might be echoes. Can you hear game audio? Or are you just hearing my laptop's fan? Okay. Now I can't hear, but that's not important. I'll run like this for a little bit. Are you getting echo?
Open fire! I'm out of here!
You change powers. So I've got this new armor or the new style of the DarkStar Manufacturing armor reward. Where is that? Supernova. So Supernova is an expensive power. Isn't super useful, really. A lot of people don't use it, but it uses a lot of energy. So it's good.
Time to earn a living.
As you can see, I just spammed the heck out of it. And still have power to spare.
Get your damn head down.
I am working on updates to hopefully final for now updates to DarkStar Manufacturing and Astrodynamics simultaneously. Sometime later this week or next week, depending on how testing goes. I'm hoping to have these mods released in their hopefully final for now form, so I can focus on DarkStar Robotics. For those that are waiting on that mod to get started, I will say that some of the things that I'm doing for Astro and Manufacturing this week are some of the experiments I need to do to figure out how to implement everything that I want to implement in robotics. So it's all leading to the same place. So it's valuable work.
They're not paying me enough for this. I'm taking you down. Get up! I got. Turn the kick.
Down from up here.
Your funeral. Not like that.
Where are you going? Where'd the other guy go? Hey, welcome to Force Recon. I'm hoping to get more Force Recon members active on Discord, so if you're not on Discord, join Discord. So I want to be able to do private streams, conversations with the Discord members that are Force Recon. I also, when I have DarkStar Robotics ready for beta testing, guess who's going to get first jump at beta testing? Force Recon members. I won't be able to pick every Force Recon member if I have a lot of them, but those are the people that I'm gonna tap first for beta testing. And for right now, I can't guarantee I'll be able to do that with Xbox players. I've got to still figure out how to get that working, beta test for Xbox, because I am going to want to test that on Xbox before I go live. So I'll be working with, or talking to a couple Bethesda contacts that I have to see how to make that viable. And part of the goal there is if you get in on the beta testing, you won't have to pay for the mod. That one will have to be a paid mod because of software licenses and paid voice acting. So This is a point of interest. I feel like you should be able to just build as like a prefab. Just boom, and it places the mountain and everything. Tristan, I have said from the beginning that that companion in DarkStar Robotics will be an android. It'll be human-like. There will be some robotic features of it. I'll be doing whatever I can to hide the character's mouth because the game does not support custom lip sync files at all right now. It doesn't matter what the mod author tries to do. That's something that Bethesda is working on. They do not have yet. So until they have that, any mod author that's doing a companion has to try and hide the mouth of the character that's speaking. But it will be a humanoid android companion voiced by my son. And I will be doing a full legal contract with him and paying him for his work, and it'll be his first paid voiceover work. He wants to be a voiceover artist when he grows up completely. So the Force Recon rank is automatically applied in Discord once you have it here. It just takes it waits for YouTube's synchronization to kick over to Discord. So sometimes it's instantaneous, sometimes it takes a day. But your name will be red. And you'll have access to the Force Recon section of Discord. Only me, the moderators, and Force Recon can chat there. Yeah, I'm thinking mask. I'm gonna have to create the mask myself though, and that means learning how to do nifs and morphs and all of that, which I've never done. So it's not beyond my ability to learn. It's just I haven't had a chance to yet. Yep. My part of my goal was to get him into get something that is actually a paid contract for voice acting work, so that he has that as a legitimate resume entry, you know. And my wife is going to do some of the voice acting too. We've got a few surprises in store for both of them, or for you guys in regards to both of them. Some of it will be free content, but a lot of it, the bigger efforts, will have to be paid content. Like, for example, when I do 3D modeling, the only officially supported 3D modeling software right now is 3D Studio Max. And the lowest level version of that costs $2,000 a year, basically. And, while my day job is a decent paycheck, all of that money is allocated to bills. So it's not like I'm sitting around with just $2,000 to throw at it. And that's just that one piece of software. I also have to get licenses for WYs and other stuff like that, plus paying the voice actors, and yeah. And I really want to get, if I can get an income stream from all of this that's healthy enough, I want to be able to pay my moderators, because they deserve to get paid for all the effort they put in. But right now, that's just not in the cards. I'm not even earning anything on this stuff yet, so. My YouTube account got monetized, but I haven't received a single payment yet. And when I do, it's going to be very small, because I am small potatoes. And I'm not really doing this for like YouTube ad revenue or anything. It's just hopefully a tiny little trickle that'll help pay for some of the stuff I have to pay for. Thing is disgusting. Ew. I don't know what that's going to be yet. So, mod authors don't actually pick their exact price. They don't actually pick what they're earning either. So, what we do is when you're uploading a verified creation, which is what that has to be, you have to select a pricing tier, which is basically like small, medium, large. And you pick that based on, like, they have little prompts of, this has one quest, this is DLC size, this is blah, 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 blah. And then it tells you in that, in like little blue text, what your earnings could be per sale. And that's it. Like, we did, beyond that, like, Bethesda's in control of what the actual end cost actually is. I'm sure somebody's got some breakdown of what that is currently in today's definitions, but it could change. So, but a lot of it's going to be based on what I'm able to accomplish, because I have pretty lofty goals for that mod. And then whatever I accomplish in that mod leads into the next mod, and I can bring some of the tech over, and yada yada yada. So I've got this scaling plan of accomplishing a thing and using what I learned there to pull off the next thing.
Wait, what was that?
You'll pay for that!
Now look at you.
Go get him, buddy. Go get him. Why are you hiding? It's not just Bethesda, though. So, like, Microsoft takes a cut, Steam takes a cut of any sales made through Steam, and, you know, Bethesda gets a cut, sure. I'm sure a portion of their cut goes to paying their staff, because they are supposed to do QA and validation on any verified creation. So they have staff that are spending man hours on that mod. So it's not just pure profit from them. And of course they have, you know, the cost of their servers, their download service, the bandwidth that they're paying for. They're probably on Amazon Web Services for that kind of hosting, and that's not ultimately that cheap. Especially not at the scale of Bethesda's, you know, needs. So I think, in all honesty, if I was being realistic about it, I feel like Bethesda's profit margin of actual profit is probably less than the mod author's profit margin. Sure, a larger portion goes towards, you know, everything except the mod author. We get a very small cut, but that doesn't mean that all of the rest of it's profit for somebody else, I guess is my point.
Yeah? So what?
Gonna take you down.
Come can't believe they got away.
Well, and at the end of the day, being able to make any money on a mod is
Well, that was
a
fun.
big deal, really. Even if it's a ratio that we would consider a pittance, it's a change in the way the industry does things. Because for the longest time, if you were doing
This all you got?
content like mods for someone else's game, 'cause I'm not the game developer, right? They own the intellectual property, and they are in complete ownership of anything I would try and produce by law. So even though it's, my work going into whatever mod I create, they own all the materials that I'm working with. So the fact that I'm able to charge, not that I am currently charging, but the fact that I would be able to charge money at all is a big deal. So me personally, and just to point out, my profit margin on novels sold is generally a lower ratio than what Bethesda offers for mod authors. Just so we're clear on that, I think last time I saw the metrics, it averaged out to between 35 and 45%, depending on pricing tier and whatever else was going on. And that is definitely higher than my profit margin on a per dollar basis for novels. So I'm not going to complain. Others might. I do not. Like when I sell books through Amazon, for example, Amazon's taking 65% of it, basically. 65 to 70% of it. And then my distributor takes more on top of that. It's ridiculous. So if one of my books prints and sells for, like, ballparking here, I don't remember the prices of each book, but let's say one costs you $32. I'm earning like $3 off of that. And that's not even an exaggeration.
Time to party. I'm hit.
Unnecessary use of starborn powers.
Got me.
Yeah, I mean, there's something to be said for people that can focus on the profitability of a thing and, churn out the highest profit margins possible and yada yada. I don't find that personally rewarding. Um, I find that if I'm working on something that I love doing, I'm going to feel,
Better you than me.
emotionally and mentally rewarded, regardless of the profitability of it. So, like, I totally could have, published these mods and charged money for them, and I'm sure plenty of people would be happy. But like, I got real depressed one day because I looked at the what that would have been like if my earnings had been like $5 per copy sold at my current download rate. I would almost be a millionaire. So I'm like, oh crap. But no, it's like that would have been a ridiculous price point. I think for me to earn $5, I would have had to be up at a tier where it's like $35 for that one, and that would be, I would hate myself if I had done that. You know? Yeah, I do think there's going to be mod authors, may or may not already exist, that put out mods and charge money for them just to earn a paycheck, and, you know, more power to them. Clearly, I am not one of those people. Oh, I want to see that on the map. Yeah, that ship just looks sick. I almost want to build the reverse of that with the cockpit back here, looking over the front, and have this be the front of the ship. That would be sick. Hey, Fuzzy. Well, like, you know, my day job's pretty good. I've got a 32-year-old career, and I make enough money to, you know, cover our house and our vehicles and our credit cards and utilities and food and all that for a full family, and, you know, that's all good and fine. Someday I would love to not have to have that day job, but I'm also a realist, and I know that, you know, that's probably not in the cards for a very long time. So, like, I'm not trying to get rich with mods or anything. It'd be cool if they did eventually someday earn enough to cover a couple bills or something. You know, like, we've got home repairs I would like to be able to do. I want to be able to order a more powerful laptop so that I can work more efficiently and get more done. As far as, like, graphics and stuff, this laptop I've got already runs the game completely maxed out, so that isn't my goal. But, you know, but that's, you know, aside from being able to throw some bones towards my moderators because they keep me sane, they do a lot of stuff for the community. Anything else I earn is going to first go into improving my ability to do more mods, and then, you know, compensating the family for the time I'm spending doing mods and not hanging out with them. Thankfully, my wife has her own business, so she's busy, busy, busy all the time anyways, so it's not like I'm, you know, skipping out on wife time to do what I do. 99 times out of 100, if I'm doing a mod or gaming, we wouldn't be hanging out anyways. She's already busy with something else, so there's at least that. But like last night, I did take some time off of everything to play Minecraft with the son for a bit, and yeah, no.
I see you. Sound the alarm.
Hey guys, how's this?
I've had enough of this.
Best you can do!
Screwing around.
I love when they talk smack while they're fleeing for their lives.
Do it! Damn it, she's picking us off!
Whoa.
I'm hit.
I already like somebody asked me the other day. They're like, "How do you get so much done with day job and all your modding and posting the live streams and managing your Discord and yada yada yada?" I'm like, I sleep less.
Oh, it's time!
Like there are weeks where I average like 4 hours a night, if I'm lucky.
Out! Reloading!
Eventually, that'll burn me out, and I gotta take a break and sleep more. But it's kind of how I've always been. If I'm obsessing over something, it consumes me.
Get him! Picking us off!
Even though I know this game doesn't have them, every time I go into quarters like this in any game that qualifies even half-heartedly as an FPS, I always half expect a xenomorph to come around a corner and attack me. I didn't make it. Yeah, when I was young, in my 20s, playing EverQuest, the first EverQuest. So we're talking like 2000, 2001 time frame. I would get off work at, try and get off work early on a Friday, get off around 3 or 4 p.m., race back to my apartment, and then I would start gaming and stay up all weekend. I would go to bed Sunday night and get up and go to work on Monday morning. That's how starting a little bit late compared to the rest of my desired guildmates, who I ended up joining. I caught up to them by playing more than they did, and then that just kept going. Yeah, I think there's some things I have in plan that won't be necessarily xenomorph models, but I do want to take some of the just some of the encounter styles that you would see in like an Alien franchise or a Starship Troopers franchise, and try and bring some of those style of encounters to Starfield. Because I'm not big on bringing other intellectual properties into a game. I feel like the game should stand on its own with its own IP. So like while I enjoy Star Wars, I don't want Star Wars in my Starfield. Starfield is Starfield. Star Wars is Star Wars. That's how personal preference. It's how I do it. That's why I'll never do those mods. So like I wouldn't bring in xenomorphs specifically, but I could see xenomorph style attacks of terramorphs or something like that. Maybe a new strain of terramorph that's focused on stealth and whatever. But I want to figure out if I can, create a stowaway system where things sneak onto your ship when you're not around, and then you don't find out until you take off and fly around. Especially if you have a huge ship, they might hide somewhere. I want to see if I can do that. I want to see if I can do ship boardings where people, try and disable and board your ship while you're in it. I also think, that one scene from Starship Troopers where they're in that walled fort, and they find that commander, and he's like, "Oh, it's coming to kill us," and blah 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 blah. They get into your brain, and they're getting swarmed from outside with thousands and thousands of bugs. I think it'd be neat as hell if there was an encounter like that in Starfield where that was terramorphs attacking a structure, and you have to survive long enough for a dropship to come and save your ass. So I'm gonna look into things like that too. That's the kind of stuff I'm motivated by. Like I want my quest lines when I finally bring them out to be extremely difficult. Like I can't make the mod like robotics mod. I can't make it require you to have astrodynamics and manufacturing installed, but I am 100% going to balance that mod as if you have both installed. And you will most likely need relic weapons to get through some of the encounters I have planned. That's the goal. So that's the shit I have coming. I just, I have to get there. The reason I want a new laptop is because everything hinges on RAM and hard drive space, and I have to be mobile, so it has to be a laptop. I have to be able to work in my home office or out in the center of the house. My wife and I will team up. I work on my thing, she works on her thing in the same room. A tactic called body doubling. So we do that often. So I need to be able to take my computer with me. I need to be able to take my computer and work from the library near us. Things like that. But the laptop I have only has 32 gigs of RAM, and I need 64. So the creation kit by itself will take up around 24 gigs every time you spool it up. It says the minimum is 16, but it always takes more than it says. And there are definitely times where I need to be able to run OBS Studio, DaVinci Resolve, and Creation Kit and Xedit all at the same time, and that bogs down my machine. Well, as far as lightsaber thing that comes back to game rights and intellectual property, right? If Starfield officially supported something like a lightsaber, they could get sued by Disney. And they already pay enough license fees to NASA and everybody else for this game, for all the research and free advice and stuff that they got. So like, I don't think they want to pay Disney on top of everything else. Plus, then the moment they do that, they're tied at the hip with Star Wars. Mod authors can do stuff like laser swords and just not call them lightsabers, and then they're fine. But like, even as some of the mod authors are finding out, doing mods from other IPs is risky business. We had this discussion on Discord the other day. Disney is very well known for suing people for even doing something that looks like one of their IPs. So all it takes is one Disney exec to get a hair up their ass that says, "Hey, these mod authors are giving away our IP for free over in this growing popularity game called Starfield, and because of that, we won't be able to sell more Star Wars games because people will play that instead, since they can get that content for free, and that game is freely playable on Game Pass without without paying for the game, and yada yada yada, missed income, blah blah blah." Next thing you know, they're suing mod authors for publishing Boba Fett armor. There is literally nothing that stops them from doing that, and they would win those lawsuits every time. Even if it's just a very close likeness to one of their things, if they feel like you've infringed on their IP, they can sue you. And they have a very strong track record of winning all of those lawsuits. So I myself would strongly encourage mod authors from not doing that stuff unless they can somehow acquire a legitimate license that says Disney has licensed me to put Star Wars content in Starfield. But like, I know that those will never be legitimate paid mods, even no matter how much those authors would want them to be, because there's very strict enforcement on licensing for anything you bring into the game for a paid mod. It has to be content you purely produced. And if it's not, if it came from, say, another mod author, you have to have a written legal agreement between you and that mod author that allows you to use it. Or a transfer of funds to do, that it's to state in a legally binding agreement that you're going to pay them for their portion of the effort, or yada, yada, yada. Like if I do voice acting, I have to prove that I have a legal contract with the voice actors that provided the content. Otherwise, it can't be a verified creation, and therefore you can't charge money for it. All things that are kind of hidden from you guys' perspective. You don't have to deal with that stuff. But like, that was one of the first warnings I saw when I joined the VC program. It was all about, licensing and sub-licensing content. And like, I can't, if I'm using 3D Studio Max for graphics, for example, I have to be able to prove on demand that I have a legal license to 3D Studio Max. That depends. If they're guild members, then yes. And then you have to pay them according to guild rates and all that stuff. So that's one of the things I'm going to be working on with my son, is I'm going to get, legal contracts for him that are as close to those guidelines as I can afford. And then we're going to help him get into that guild. I forget what it's called, but we're going to help him get into the guild once he has some paid stuff on his resume, as soon as he turns 18. Right now, he'll be 15 this year, 1 month before I turn 50. So he's still got time. Yeah, I need to work on things like creating custom clothing and custom armor and custom weapons, and any little cool tip or a little side note for there is, like, we can't currently do custom animations. I'm on NG65. On just this one character, I've got another one that's in the 30s, another one in the 20s. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I need to work on custom graphics for suits and armor and weapons. Weapons, they have to either be the same exact hand grip layout as an existing weapon, or it's just going to have broken firing animations and everything, because you have to use existing animations for it to seem seamless and flawless. Things get really weird when you start doing custom attach points, if you will, for the player's hands. Try and do custom aim models and stuff. It gets funky. And there's some files that, like, you can do a custom aim model or custom combat style, but if you open that file up in Creation Kit a second time, then it forgets all of your settings from before, and you have to redo everything from scratch every time you try and update. It's a real pain in the ass. Can't do lip sync files yet at all. You can try and add them. They will be ignored by Starfield. So there's still a lot of things like that we're working on. Yeah, and any custom weapon, it's always advisable, at least for today's functionality in the Creation Kit, it's advisable that you start from an existing weapon model and then customize from there. to add and remove parts and things, but you leave the pistol grips and whatever in the same place, and the ammo canister in the same place, and then it'll work then with the reloading animations and the third person, first person animations and aiming. And I'm just... Oh! I just dropped my drain. That was my espresso just went tumbling. No. I get coffee like once a month. And I just lost some of it. That sucks. Yeah, this weapon here is using the Evangard on a Mark III Grendel. That's what I've been using the whole stream. It's ridiculously awesome. And that's the other thing. Like, I don't use like the min-maxed best-in-slot weapons anymore because I don't need to with the DarkStar manufacturing. Like, one of my goals was to make the weapons that are no longer viable past like level 50. Weapons you would never use past 50 if you were trying to be, you know, best in slot or use the meta or whatever people want to call it. Like a Grendel, like there's no good reason to use a vanilla Grendel beyond a certain level. Well, with this mod, of course, I can, and it's still very, very, very viable. I do a small video going live later today, by the way. I was uploading when I started this. It may be done now. Let me see. I don't know if I can see my channel content from here without killing the stream, and I don't want to kill the stream. So, never mind. But no, I have a video that's going live later today, probably within an hour of this stream ending, which is just a small thing. It's for outpost building tips. Yeah, it's the 2311 is hard to ignore once you get one at Mark III. That's in my weapon slot number 1.
On this planet after all.
Absolutely absurd. But yeah, that's something else I'm working on. So with manufacturing, I'm working on all these the force armor, that free armor you get for completing the research. So I'm working on those, and I'm going to be working on new, like these right now only have amplified particle core available. I'm going to be doing new amplified cores that you can attach that'll extend the range, and like this drops to 21 range because of the enchants and because it's particle beam. So particle beam skill set doesn't provide a range buff, but the ballistic does. So that was one of the complaints I used to get early on, is people were like, oh, when I made it into a Mark III, it lost so much range. Well, it lost range because it went from ballistic to particle, and it changed which skills applied. So I'm going to be adding different particle cores that you can swap to that'll, you know, maybe trade some energy damage for extended range and stuff like that. So that's coming. I'm also going to be working on a new melee weapon, which is going to be the big experimental thing. It'll be a DarkStar blade. And I don't want to talk too much about what I want to do with it because I'm not sure what's going to be possible. But it's going to come with the suit. Once you've completed all of the research, you'll be able to claim the blade and possibly another gun. I'm trying to decide whether to do pistol or like a Grendel type rifle that's just, you know, Yeah, I'm going to be tweaking some numbers on the different particle cores and stuff like that. For astrodynamics, I'm going to look into possibly adding. I know that the weapons right now, ship weapons, we're supposed to have the we're supposed to have the Vanguard Hellfire skin available for a flip, and for some reason it's not showing up in game. So I'm going to look at that and see where it fell off, or did it just not implement properly, or is it being truncated out because there are too many flips? But I'm going to look into that. One of the shield models that you can flip to, one of the side mount ones, has the wrong stats at max level, so I'm going to be looking at that as a bug. The DarkStar manufacturing MK2 and MK3 weapons aren't properly gaining their benefits from the different skill magazines across the game, because they use their own hidden perks. So I will be looking into those perks and seeing what edits I need to make the Mark II and Mark III work for those. Things like that. That's so it's probably going to be a slower development process this time around. It's a lot of big effort stuff. But I'm trying to get Astro and manufacturing to a point where they're in a zero maintenance state. They don't need any maintenance. They, that way I can focus on robotics. And yeah, that Umbral armor is what I was talking about, Mary Beth. It's going to be changing to what's called, the game files call it Force Armor now, not Umbral, because Umbral comes now from a new armor mod that you install. So when you install the Umbral mod, it makes it look like the Venator suit without the cape and gives it special bonuses to stealth and starborn powers. And then, I'm looking at the helmets. Let me look at the suits. And then you'll have different modules that you can install there, like Ivory, Glitter Boy, Forged Assault, and Battle Hardened. So each one will have different benefits and bonuses and deficits, and you'll just pick and choose between those, and they change the graphic and the play style of the suit. And if you ever played the Rifts MMO, not MMO, the Rifts pen and paper role-playing game back in the late 80s, early 90s, then you'll recognize what a Glitter Boy is. And that should give you a clue of what that armor's going to do once I'm done tweaking the numbers. And you'll be able to claim up to 5 suits. So you'll be able to make each and every one of these and just carry them in your inventory and swap to them as needed for your play style, if that's what you choose to do. Or you'd be like, nah, I just want the Umbral and, the Ivory. And then you can make Umbral and Ivory or whatever for different companions if you want. Whatever you want to do with them. Yeah. At the point that I get these 2 big updates done, the live stream should then turn into kind of progress updates for what I'm accomplishing on robotics that week. Um, my gut tells me that robotics is going to take about a month, month and a half to program. I know that there's going to be weeks and weeks of work for my wife and my son and me doing the voice acting. And then probably another several weeks on private testing and debugging. Then I'll have to get it out to my testing team and to beta testers from the Force Recon group. And it'll probably be in that testing mode for 2 to 3 weeks before it's able to go live. So, all in all, looking at 2.5 to 3 months total round trip on robotics, if I'm being realistic. May go faster than that, but I wouldn't count on it going faster than that. But at least you'll have other mods of mine to use while you wait on that to be done. Well, if that's everything everybody's got, then I'll probably end the stream just a few minutes early here. Give y'all back more time in your Saturday. Yep. I think that's all I had. I wouldn't expect me to do like full playthrough streams or any of that stuff until I have a big mod like robotics ready. And then you'll be able to watch me play through that, or you can skip those streams and experience it yourself for the first time, because they will probably be very spoiler ridden. And I do have some surprises in store. So, again, provided I can pull off what I want to pull off. Yep. Y'all take it easy, have a great weekend, and I will catch you again soon. Elder Diggs, it would be shocking to me if it didn't work. There's no huge visual change in the characters. You got to change one to Starborn and then draw your weapon. Let them draw their weapon. See if they're holding an inflictor when they weren't before. You know, go to a non-breathable space and see what spacesuit they put on. Go get them in combat. See if they cast spells. It uses a script to apply everything. If you're playing on PC, make sure the BA2 file got brought in and put in the right location. The BA2 file is a compressed file that contains all of the scripts that the mod uses. If the scripts aren't present, it's not going to do anything. If you have any more questions or problems beyond that, Diggs, then come on over to the Discord and post your load order and what platform you're on, PC or Xbox, and we can help you from there. All right, I'll catch y'all later.